Does anyone want the easiest, most delicious cookie that whips up in a few minutes with no chilling necessary? Say hello to Snickerdoodles. These will blow your mind. So soft, chewy, cinnamon, butter, sugar magic happening all in this little tiny cookie. Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. These Snickerdoodles are gonna whip up in a snap, so let's get started. First off, let's get those dry ingredients together. Starting off with 2 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour. That's 330 grams if you're counting. In you go. Into a large bowl with a sifter, 330 grams exactly. And now for the quintessential Snickerdoodle ingredient, it's cream of tartar. You thought I was gonna say cinnamon, but I didn't. Cream of tartar is an acid byproduct of winemaking, and you probably have used it to stabilize egg whites for a meringue before, if you bake. In a Snickerdoodle cookie, it gives you a bit of a tangy taste, it reacts to the leavening agent, and it stops the sugar from crystallizing, which means you get a soft, chewy, delicious cookie. So 1 teaspoon of that magical stuff, in you go. Now, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. When you use a salt, if you're asking my opinion, and you didn't, but I'm giving it anyways, go ahead and use like a nice mellow sea salt. Salt actually does taste a little bit different. Not as different as they want you to believe, but if you use iodized salt, it's a pretty harsh taste. And then if you're using super fine salt, which is tiny little crystals, and you add it in 3/4 of a teaspoon, you'd actually be adding in a whole teaspoon of regular salt. So just be careful of the crystal size. Go for a medium. Finally, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. This will react with that cream of tartar and give us some delicious cookie action. Okay, sift it out, and then just whisk it up. Whisk, 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 whisk. Smells delicious already, but we're gonna set it aside. Onto the butter. Into the bowl of my stand mixer, fitted with a paddle attachment. However, you don't have to use a stand mixer. You could totally just use a big bowl and an electric hand mixer. Doing this by hand would be a chore, so live your life. All right, 1 cup or 226 grams of unsalted room temperature butter. And remember, room temperature means it's not melting, it's not rock hard. It will be yielding to the touch when you press in, but you have to exert a little bit of effort. All right, 1 cup, 2 sticks, 226 grams, in you go. Now, I'm gonna cream this up for just a second to get it started. I mean, that was several seconds, so I was clearly kidding. And now it's time for the sugar. 1/2 of a cup or 100 grams, white. What the heck? This isn't supposed to happen. 1/2 of a cup or 100 grams of white sugar, and then 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. But when I saw this light brown sugar, it's crazy because different brands are totally different. They go light brown sugar anywhere from like off-white to deep brown. So this one is a little bit light for me, and I was like, I want to be true to the recipe that I wrote. So I'm using 1/2 a cup of light brown sugar and 1/4 cup of dark brown sugar. It'll like kind of even out. You can use whatever brown sugar you want though. It'll be delicious, trust. 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar. Now we're gonna mix this up until it's creamy, fluffy, homogeneous, and delicious. You might have to scrape the bowl down. Okay, I wasn't kidding. We will be scraping that bowl down. Scrape, scrape, scrape. You do not want any pure butter on the bottom. That's not cool. Mix once more until it is done. Okay, once your sugar is all homogeneous, fluffy, delicious, go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of a nice vanilla. 1, 2, it smells so good. That's 10 ml. And now 1 whole large egg and 1 egg yolk. In you go, room temperature if you can. 1 last scrape down, and we're on to the next step. And just so you know, this is how you know. And just so you want, All right, for your edification, this is how you know when your sugar, butter, egg mixture is done. It looks like this. It's nice and creamy, it's kind of flowy, and there's no parts that look different. It is homogeneous, it's all the same. This is a hair's breadth from being finished. The last step is, of course, to add in those dry ingredients. Then you're gonna be popping it into your oven at 375. Make sure you turned it on, oven on. Let's dump this in and then run it on low. You can work your way up to medium, and we're mixing until just combined. And to be honest, most of the time, I like to mix it until almost combined, and I'll go the very last part by hand. I hate overmixing my batter. It'd be hilarious if I overmixed the batter while I was talking to you. The very last step, just by hand with your spatula, go ahead and mix it up. There's probably just a little bit of flour hanging out on the side and some more buttery parts on the bottom. You hold this in your hand, like a newborn baby. You can just see it rolls really easily. This doesn't need any chill time. It's gonna go straight into the oven after we roll it and do a couple other things. So let's move on to the next step. All right, we're gonna be rolling these delicious balls of cookie dough in cinnamon sugar. So like your grandmother, I just happen to have some cinnamon sugar in my pantry. I don't know if you keep it there too. Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. Like, do you have vanilla sugar in your pantry or lemon sugar? Anyways, we'll be rolling these cookies in cinnamon sugar. If you don't have any on hand, go ahead and just use a 1/4 cup of sugar, like 50 grams, and then 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Mix, mix, mix. You could add more cinnamon or less cinnamon to taste if you want. Right, now we're just gonna roll balls of cookie dough that are about like 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. Don't have to be too finicky about it, and they do not have to be perfect. It's gonna be melting in the oven a little bit. Okay, roll, 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 and then place them apart. Give them at least 2 inches to breathe, maybe even like 2.5 to 3 inches. These cookies are a special anytime treat for the boys and Brian. Everyone likes soft and chewy cookies. You know that I have a very soft spot in my heart for crispy, thin, flat cookies. But when a cookie's good, I will go to the soft and chewy side. If you have any cookie recipe requests, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to bake some up. I'm in a total cookie frenzy lately. I cannot help myself. Oh boy, it's the last cookie of this batch. This will make probably like 24 cookies-ish. So you have a couple choices. You could bake them all now for instant gratification, or bake half of them, place the rest in a Ziploc bag, and then freeze it for like maybe, a few weeks, however long you want, and then have cookies on demand. They're amazing. I love having cookie dough in the freezer because when someone wants a snack, I can actually offer like freshly baked cookies pretty quick. These are gonna go into the oven at 375 Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes or until puffed and golden, except I didn't roll them into cinnamon sugar. These need to be rolled in cinnamon sugar now. So just pop them in, roll, roll, roll. You don't really need to roll them in cinnamon sugar, but if you didn't, I'd be questioning a lot of choices you made. Give them a quick roll. If you put cinnamon sugar on top of them, they get a lot darker instead of rolling them because they pick up more cinnamon. Now they can go into the oven at 375. These are smelling so good. I might have eaten a lot of dough off camera, but I have waited for the bite for you. You know I'm not a big fan of soft and chewy cookies, but these are amazing. They're seriously so good. If you like this recipe, check out my cookie playlist. So many delicious cookies to choose from. You are going to fall in love with several of them, and we all need a cookie right now, so click, click, click. All right, time for a bite. It's so good. Just a little bit of crisp on the outside, so soft and chewy on the inside. And that cinnamon, the butter, the sugar. Anyways, if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.